I've come to meet her today, and I am really very, very excited. So, synchronicity kind of brought us together at a channeling event, didn't it, Deb?
It did.
Which is just bizarre, because I have actually been trying to get somebody else who did sound work on, and they were obviously never meant to come. So give my audience some background about yourself.
Background. I've always been on a spiritual journey as long as I can remember. I was a very psychic, sensitive child. So I astral travelled a lot, I left my body regularly. I used to float around the bedroom and tell my parents that I could float and then come back into my body and basically play with it. So I could raise above myself and then pull myself back in, and then raise above myself and pull myself back in. I could see spirit, I could see energy. I was very aware of auras and colours, and never really saw... I've never been a medium. It's always been on an energy level. But I've always known that this world as we know it, there's always been more to this world than the physical of what we see in everyday life. Always. I don't ever remember not having an experience where I was feeling, a lot more than what we see.
So I'm just going to jump straight in there. As a child, what was it like to tell your parents that you're astral travelling?
It wasn't. I was very unaware because I thought everybody was like it. And I've got an interesting background. I've got a Jewish mother and a Catholic father. So neither one of them were particularly impressed or supportive. In fact, my dad thought that the whole thing was really, really scary, and basically didn't want anything to do with it at all. It was like, don't ever say those things in front of people, and this is not good. Yeah. You don't speak about this stuff. And my other side of the family, they're not like me at all, and found the whole thing really difficult. So it wasn't embraced, no.
I'll be honest, my parents would have thought it was bonkers.
Yeah, no, it wasn't embraced. Even now, I've lost my dad's past, but even now my family is still, they don't really understand. I think if you experiencing something that for you is so natural, you don't know no different. But when you say it to other people as a child, and you see their reaction, you sort of realise that maybe you've said something that you shouldn't have said. And I think for a long time I kept things very to myself. But it's always happened. I don't ever remember not having guidance or images or dreams or... No, I don't.
Wow, so have you spent your whole life almost allowing that to drive what you do?
Yeah. Everything I've ever learned, everything I've ever done, everything I've ever been drawn to has always been something that I felt was guided to me. And I've always been interested, because of my diverse culture, I've always been really, really interested in religion. So I've studied Catholic, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhism. I've been around the whole lot. And my family came from Notting Hill Gate, Portobello Road. Yeah. So I grew up with a really, really cosmopolitan world, full of Ali Krishna and Buddhists and healers and just multicultural. I've had a really diverse influence on so many levels, which has helped me to be very open towards people and to understand that we are not here to judge. We are here to experience and to live our life, to be true to ourselves, not worry what other people think.
That's actually a big statement to make, and often more difficult to follow, though.
Absolutely.
So how's that impacted on your life?
I think because I've always had such strong guidance, there's been a lot of times where I've had to really dig deep, Deb. Do you know what I mean? I've had to really stand in my power, and I've really studied for 20 years about personal development, the way the mind works, the way we create our own reality. Because for so long I felt so alone, so different, so disjointed from the mainstream. You know, it was like I never really fitted in.
Yeah.
And that was hard. Yeah, it was difficult. It's learning to live with a lot of courage, actually, and to really stand in your power and realise that we are all unique and individual. We don't always have to belong or be part of what everybody else perceives as the norm.
Yeah, yeah. It's fascinating, isn't it? Now tell me, you said about your studying.
Yeah.
Explain some of your studying, because, you know, a sound therapist is not a normal career to have moved into.
No. All right, so 20 years ago, I had my son in my late teens. So for a long time, possibly in my 20s and mainly my 20s, even though I was still on a spiritual path and I've always had guidance, I parked it.
Yeah.
And that first 10 years, between 19 and 30, my whole focus was my son, completely. And then in my late 20s, I had, how would I say, I had a huge spiritual experience, not particularly nice spiritual experience. Doesn't matter what it is, but it was profound.
Yeah.
And it woke me up again, and it made me realise that it was all back. Everything I'd parked, everything I'd suppressed, everything I'd sort of put to one side came back with a vengeance. And I started seeing images, I was doing psychic drawings, I was doing readings, I was hearing voices, you name it, it was happening. Energy, all sorts. It was like it just came back with a vengeance, really, really with a vengeance.
Yeah.
And it made me sort of sit up again and think, okay, I need to start understanding what's happening to me. So started working with energy again, started getting into the healing, really into the healing, doing massive amounts, but also I wanted to understand the theory behind it, because I'd always lived with it naturally. Now I wanted to study and understand what was happening and why it was happening and how it was happening. So I read phenomenal amounts of books about tarot and clairvoyance and clairaudience and energy and basically anything I could get hold of.
Yeah.
And then over the last 20 years started teaching philosophy, and then about 5-6 years ago I went to India and met a guy out there, a guru, and was introduced to sound healing. Never ever came across it here, but in India it's like everything in the East, it's part of everyday life. They don't separate so much between their spiritual world and their physical world. And I witnessed some amazing stuff going on with sound energy, with people that were very poorly, cancers, heart problems, strokes, where energy in the body had got blocked.
Yeah.
And also with the cancers, where energy was very intense and dark and solid, and tumours and growths. And what the theory behind it is that the universe vibrates on an energy. And if you was to turn that energy into sound, it would be the sound of Om.
Okay.
Om is the sound of universal energy. So all language that we create on this planet is distorted sound as far as the energy of the universe is concerned. So while we want to connect with the universal energy and we do our prayers, it's always the intention, the feeling behind the prayer that is the connection with the universal consciousness. But if we want to connect through sound with the universal consciousness, we connect through the sound of Om.
Okay.
So all the old chanting,
Here we have Angel in the background.
Sorry.
Trying to get out the door at the moment.
Sorry, everybody.
That's okay.
If we're going to connect with the sound of the universe, the nearest thing that replicates our connection is the sound bowls, because they actually make the sound of Om.
Okay.
So as the vibration, our body, our physical body is heavy, but our light body, our energy body, that is our auric, ethereal body, also contains all of the information that is reflected from our physical body. So the sound is heavier than light. So as we use the sound bowls to vibrate through the physical body, the physical sound, because it's denser and heavier than light, passes through our physical body and it creates a vibration.
Okay.
Now that vibration starts to distort our molecular cellular body. So anything we're holding on to, blocks, emotions, anything that is not of the light, starts to be physically vibrated with the sound of the bowls. So it's like passing an energy that is heavier than light through our physical body that starts to vibrate to bring us back into perfect alignment.
So in many respects, when I'm working with the meridians and I'm looking at blocks, it's similar but not in the same sort of way. It's still working with the energies, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And it's working with the unblocking aspects of it.
Absolutely.
Now, can the sound work affect DNA?
Yes. Yes. It affects anything that is lighter than sound. You see, all of us, right, we are just energetic, vibrational beings. All of us, we're just energy vibrating at different frequencies. So the physical frequency is heavier, but then our emotions and our thoughts and everything, you know, all the electricity that we give off, our heartbeats, our heart beating all day is producing an electronic field. Our mind, every thought we have is an energy, an electronic, it's a vibration. So anything that affects that vibration can bring it into alignment. Anything. And sound is a vibration. The sound of the bowls is such a pure sound. It's the sound of the universe. And a few months ago I worked with a lady called Anita Monjani. Have you heard of her?
No, I haven't.
She had a massive experience, near-death experience, and she passed and went to the other side. She calls it the other realm. And I've read lots and lots of books of scientists and neuroscientists that in the last few years have had a lot of near-death experiences. And they're saying that when they go to the other realm, even though they've come back, that while they're there, all thought is telepathic, but the sound of the universe is the sound of Om. So it confirms, you know, everything that I've ever believed and have had guidance on. So even us speaking now, it's our intention of what we want to create together that's important, not the sound of the voices that we're making. That's just a way of relaying the message to other people so they can understand us.
So, in effect, at that level, if we're thinking of everything being a vibration, fundamentally, if you choose to vibrate at a different level, you don't have to take on board negativity or be ill,
Absolutely,
or other people's fear or things like that.
The way it works now is that we're going on the planet through a transition of moving up onto a higher vibration, and it's the.
What do you mean by that? For those in my audience who will go, what does that mean?
That fear, negativity, the illusion that we've created on this planet that to be happy you have to acquire a lot of material possessions. That the truth is that we need very, very little to be happy. And when you ask most people what they truly want in life, they want to be peaceful, they want to be loving and loved, and they want to be happy. And all the things that we feel that we need to pull into our life, on some level, we're just attracting things that give us a short-term fix. They're not a long-term plan. True happiness, peace and joy comes from understanding and being in touch with who you are from within, and shining that light from within, radiating out into the world, rather than absorbing things from outside and looking for a quick fix to give yourself a high, an adrenaline rush, a high on some level to help you feel happiness.
So you're saying that moves you up the levels then?
Absolutely. Okay. And the more we move to the heart is the crossroads. It's the heart that connects us from the physical world to the spiritual world. So the heart is the gateway of transition. Once we start living from a place of love, and I don't just mean loving others or loving what you do or loving what you have, I mean really loving who you are, accepting and loving yourself unconditionally. Not easy.
Well, no, in many respects, because we're surrounded by, media that constantly, bigs people up, and then they get them to a certain level and then brings them back down again. And, I know from previous work that I've done that women in particular undermine themselves continuously with their language about themselves.
I agree, and I think a lot of it is conditioning from when we're young. I think we're given models even now, and our parents give us the best they can give us with the understanding that they've had through their lifetime. I think that education gives us the best it can give us through the understanding that the systems have been built on over the last 100 years. But I think now, with the way that the sciences are moving and the amount of information that we're getting, spiritually, energetically, I think we're realising that it's time to take responsibility and break through a lot of the conditioning from our past.
Yeah.
And I think this is where a lot of people are. I think the illness and negativity, I think we attract it into our life on some level to give us a choice. And I think that sometimes we attract things into our life that are not very pleasant, but when we look back, they've been our greatest learning.
Yeah, because a lot of people will say, hold on, stuff's happened to me, and actually I haven't chosen that to happen to me in many respects.
Not on a conscious level, but maybe on an energetic level. I think that we are responsible for everything we create, and sometimes we think we're looking after ourselves, we think we're loving ourselves. We're not really paying attention to the signs of the body, and sometimes I believe that all illness starts on an energetic level before it manifests into the physical. So on some level, if you're not really looking after yourself and you're not living your life in accordance with who you truly are and in balance with who you truly are and the physical body that you've been gifted with, I think that what happens is we ignore the signs and we ignore the signs and we ignore the signs, and then the physical body will say, hey, you've ignored me for however long, and now I'm going to bring your attention to an area of your life that you need to work on. Once we start understanding that prevention is better than cure, and we start realising that we are a lot more than physical, and we start understanding that energy is giving us the warning signs a long time before the physical body manifests the illness, we'll start to be able to catch things a lot quicker on a personal level before it gets to a massive kick up the arse.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Now, when you're working with the body, with the bowls and the body, how do you start to define how you are going to work with an individual? With them?
Do a body scan.
Okay, so explain that.
So what I do, the easiest way, I see energy. Not all the time, but I see energy. And I've seen full energy bodies around a physical body, so I know exactly what it looks like. And basically, we've got vortexes of energy that come out of our physical body and connect us to the universal energy, chakras.
Yeah.
And they literally spin like vortexes, but they're spinning wheels.
Okay, like a Catherine wheel.
Absolutely, and they're always moving. Energy is never stagnant, ever.
Well,
so,
it shouldn't be. Do you see stagnant energy?
I see stagnant energy, but even stagnant energy is always vibrating.
Oh, interesting.
Always vibrating.
Okay.
Nothing.
Just at a lower level.
Absolutely, and a much denser level. A much, much denser level. When we're in good health, our body is very light, and we feel light. When we feel heavy, it's because our energy is literally heavy. So we need to work on that, and when we feel energy, we need to learn and take personal responsibility. How do we bring our own energy vibration back up? And normally we've connected to a lot of fear or negativity or frustration or anger that we need to let go of, and most people don't understand how to let go or to clear their energy body. So the quickest way I've found to do a body scan is with a crystal. And I will literally run the crystal over the 7 chakra system, the 7 vortexes, and I can tell instantly what's going on, how that vortex is spinning, whether it's spinning in alignment. It's not about the size of the spinning vortexes. They can all spin quite small, as long as they're spinning in balance.
Okay.
But if you've got one that's spinning huge and 6 others that are spinning very, very small, then on some level that area of the body is overcompensating for other areas of the body. So we'd need to work on the other areas of the body to bring them up to where the most of the energy is being focused. And I found that a lot of people live so much in their head. They create scenarios in their head that they then believe are their reality, that they then decide they're not even going to bother because they've already decided that's what's real before ever taking the action or having the experience. So we live in a world that lives in their head.
Do you think that, I have an opinion about that, which is about the TV, and that the television now has made it so people are having 2-dimensional experiences and then experiencing it at an emotional level through that medium and feel that they've had it in reality.
I totally agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. I have got this whole campaign not to watch too much TV, not to watch the news, don't read any newspapers, because it's somebody's opinion. It's not reality. The only reality we know is what we experience ourselves. And everything else is somebody else's model of the world. And we've got 57 million people, I think, living in this country at the moment, with 57 million models of the world. Which one do you choose?
So you're talking about this scanning that you do, and just explain chakras to the audience out there who actually don't know what you're talking about in regards to the chakra system.
Okay. Chakra systems are, each chakra is related.
And where they are.
First one is the root chakra. It's related to your, basically your security, your foundations in life, and it represents I am. So it's the first energy centre that we work on because it's the grounding energy, and it comes from, what would you say that is? Pubic bone? Pubic bone to the floor. It's what connects us to the earth. And it is I am. So if you haven't got a very nice or very good sense of who you are, and you've had a lot of criticism in your life, or you've had a lot of bullying, a lot of low self-worth, low self-esteem, your actual sense of I am, your sense of identity is going to need work, because you're not feeling your true self. You've created a model of who you are, normally from others' opinions, Also, root chakra, first chakra, is about your sense of security. So if you worry all the time about money and you're constantly worried that you have got a lack of in your life, root chakra is going to be affected. And until we've got the basis of life on solid ground, everything we put on top of that is going to wobble. So the most important element of starting to work with energy is ground everything. And that's why people say you need to be grounded. You need to get it grounded. It's like ideas. However much you've got an idea in your head, until you put something on paper and you put a date on it, it's not tangible. It's not real. Write things down, get them out, let things go, make them real. Take action. Work on the sense of I am fulfilled, I am abundant, I am beautiful, I am amazing. Set the affirmations with the first principles of root chakra, I am. And when you feel that you've grounded things, then you move up to the next area. Vibrate slightly higher, so the colours go like the rainbow from red to orange. Energy vibrates. As it moves up the spectrum, the colours become lighter. So we move from red to orange. Orange, I feel. I feel. So when we're feeling good, we're sending positive energy to our sacral. This is all about your reproductive system, sexuality. And with the world we live in now, especially for women, we are given this idea that to feel sexual, we've got to fit into a world where we look like a model, we look like page 3, we're perfect physically, and unless you have all these attributes, you can't possibly be worthy of feeling sexy, you know, unless you're a perfect size or a perfect body, you know.
The other thing, do you think that a lot of people then are stuck in those two chakras and the energies around them are lower? Because I see one heightened sexualisation in society of the media and things. So they, in regards to models and women and how they're treated and how it's been pushed down to young girls, and you know how they're portrayed in the media.
Look at all the eating disorders.
Yeah, and things like that.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, the I am, in regards to how secure you feel. Most people don't have a level of security.
Absolutely.
So
I totally agree with you.
So are people, would you say that this is where you predominantly work?
Absolutely. And I think at the moment, this world seems to focus on 2 areas of life. Sex and money.
Yeah.
That's it. Anything outside of that, as far as the illusion that that's been created that we are supposed to buy into, if you're not focused on money, you've got to be focused on sex. They are the 2 predominant energies, and they are both low vibration.
Oh, right.
Low vibration.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere. Magazines, fashion, the high street, TV, it's everywhere. It's rammed in our face on a level where it's in your face, but it's subliminal as well. Everything is about sex and money.
Yeah.
That's it.
I agree.
That is it.
Unfortunately for a lot of people. And do you feel that it's because a lot of people don't want to feel, so they've dulled this, because, what am I saying? Yeah, they've dulled their other needs, you know, the whole sort of Maslow's hierarchy.
Absolutely.
In many respects.
Absolutely.
They're dulling their needs down, because if they did work their way up, they would suddenly start to gain an awareness that is actually quite painful about themselves, and does mean that they've got to start working with people like yourselves on their personal development, and that means them facing up to the things they are saying about themselves and the things they're pursuing, which fundamentally aren't giving them happiness.
I totally agree. And happiness is when you are truly at peace with yourself, that sense of inner peace, to let go of all the drama, because we live in a world that uses drama to control. And when you can understand that you can live without the drama, and it is literally a case of choice, to detach through choice from others' drama, and not to get sucked into a world that is feeding drama on all levels 24 hours a day. The feeling of liberation is like, I can't even put it into words, it's euphoric. And it's consistently euphoric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating that, because I have moments still at the moment where I experience, I call it my bliss state, and everything's going really well, and then I fall into this whole drama. So I'm still going through that as I'm kind of still exiting my previous life. So I have a lot of empathy around, the whole drama aspects of things. I remember my boss saying that she'd never seen anybody have so many things happen to them. It was only when I sat back and went on a theta healing course years ago.
With Vivian Stable.
No, I did it with...
She created Theta
Oh,
Healing.
yeah, with Vivian, yeah, she created it.
Yeah.
I went on it with Catherine Shaw, and we're hoping to get on the show in a few weeks' time. But it was at that point, they do this whole removal of drama, and I suddenly realised how much I lived on drama at that point. So it's been, it's been a whole taking away of it, but I can see that I wasn't unusual.
No, because we're conditioned to believe on some level that, you see, drama gives us something to feel.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are terrified of letting go of the drama, because they're like, if I don't have all the drama, I'm not going to get the attention. If I don't get the attention, where am I going to get the love?
Yeah.
So we then come to this place of, I'm empty. And emptiness for a lot of people is terrifying. But when you realise that once you let go of the drama, what you do, you move into a place of allowing. And you allow the love, the peace, the joy to flow into your life. Once you find that place of peace, like attracts like. So you find that instead of attracting drama, you will start to attract into your life situations that fulfill you on a different level. They will fulfill you on a peaceful level, on an abundant level, on a joyful level. And as soon as you shift internally, then you radiate and vibrate on a different energy, so you attract into your life what you truly, truly want. It sounds simple, it is simple, but you have to be in a place where you acknowledge what isn't working for you and take responsibility to make the choices to let go. And the letting go can be really, really painful.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're going to be letting go of things in your life that have been there for a long time. And whether they're good for you, bad for you, or indifferent for you, they're your comfort zone. And they're what you've used as the foundations to create who you are. So once you let go of them, you've got to start looking yourself in the mirror.
It's your whole identity, that it's like shedding your skin, isn't it? And when it's on the
Absolutely.
floor, you can spend a period of time kind of wandering around going,
Who am I?
Yeah, what do I do now?
Absolutely.
And how do I make this work?
Absolutely. But there are ways. The thing is, I also teach goal setting, a very specific type of goal setting, where in life, once you set your goals, it's not the goals that are important, it's the focus of the goal. Because without goals, we will look at our lives and think, this isn't working, that isn't working, this isn't working, that isn't working. So we'll constantly move away from things that don't work. By moving away from something we don't like, we then just create it in another area of our life. Agreed?
Well, this is where your patterns start to happen, isn't it?
Absolutely. Once we set goals, we change the energy. So we then create energy with a forward momentum. So we start to move towards what we want, rather than permanently moving away from what we don't want.
Yeah.
And energetically, it's completely different. One is perpetual forward motion. The other is chaos. Basically, erratic chaos.
Oh, it explains my whole life.
Yeah.
Previously.
Do some goal setting. Because when we really set goals that are heart-centred, goals that are precise and positive, then we're setting our goals from a place of love, from within ourselves. Yeah. And that engages the heart centre. So we start to look at life and feel life from a different place. And with goal setting, what you're doing, you're aligning your heart and your head. So you're creating the link between what you think and what you feel. So it brings the two together. Yeah. And it's like everything. Once you start thinking about something, if you think pink elephants, you're going to start to see pink elephants. It's weird, but you do. Yeah. Once you start programming your mind towards what you want, rather than worrying about what you don't want, which is negative goal setting, then you start moving towards things you love, and you'll find that the universe helps you along and will start opening all the doors to helping you fulfill your true desires. Yeah. So the whole feeling of peace and love and joy and moving towards what you want, everything starts to shift in a really simple, easy, loving way.
And that's fascinating, because I spent a little bit of time over Christmas thinking, I really want a sound therapist on the, who does the bowls, basically, on the show. And then I pursued someone else, and they didn't come on. But actually, I just left it to one side, knowing full well that that's what I wanted.
Trusting.
And then I've met you. It is fascinating.
And trusting. Yeah. I think the one thing is, we live in a world that vibrates on a lot of fear. Yeah. So much fear is around us. The world is full of fear. And if ever I could say to people, more than at any other time, take responsibility now for your own happiness. Don't buy in to what everybody else is projecting. Take responsibility now. Know that we are the creators of our own personal reality. Because if you buy into the fear, it's like an epidemic. It's eating us away. It really is. So realise that you have a choice. We have a choice. Take responsibility now for your own peace, your own love, and connect with the universe. Connect with your own personal world. Learn to meditate. Learn to quieten the mind. Learn to connect and understand your own energy. Go with how you feel. If somebody says to you that you can't do something, they're just projecting their own fears onto you. Know in your heart that you are capable of creating anything that you put your heart and mind to. We have to have, the heart is what gives us the love. And it's by coming from that place of love that we create a loving world. And at the moment, even if we only create a loving world for ourselves, we're doing our own bit for humanity, because we're taking responsibility for our little world. And if everybody takes responsibility for their own little world, we're going to create a beautiful world.
The thing is, for me, is that if we are basically resonating from that position, then in effect you are going to interact with everybody around you. I believe that it's almost like we leave a watermark on people, because we resonate through them. And science shows that our energies affect other people's energies, and so the scientific proof around that.
Absolutely.
So in effect, for me, I always believe that as we dance through life, we are almost tap dancing on a carpet that we are designing in front of us, but it's that carpet that then basically acts as a watermark across other people. That pattern goes everywhere else.
I totally agree. And that's why the more we vibrate on a loving energy, the more we will attract more loving people into our life. Because like does attract like. Whatever we send out there is what we're going to get back. So, going back to the chakras, the lower ones, the root chakra vibrates red. The orange of our sacral, I feel, moves up then into the solar plexus, which is our power source, which is I do.
Right.
And for a lot of people at the moment, taking action seems to be difficult. We look outside of who we are for others to take responsibility. So we seem to not want to own our own choices. I don't know, I think it's this fear thing again. It's like if we don't take responsibility and anything goes wrong, we can blame everybody else for our failure.
Yeah.
Whereas once we have to start taking responsibility for our choices, then comes the fact, well, whether we're getting it right or wrong, we've still got to stand up and say, hey, do you know what I mean? Hands up here, I've got it wrong.
Yeah.
But the way we learn is by getting it wrong. When we're children and we learn to walk, we don't fall over 100 times and think, hey, do you know what, I don't really like this falling over anymore, I'm just going to sit on my arse and grow up into an adult and shuffle around on my bottom for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
We don't. We persevere and persevere and persevere until we learn to stand on 2 feet. And I think what's happening as adults, a lot of people have lost that confidence to realise that when we're learning new stuff or when we're letting go of stuff, we might have to fall over 100 times before we get it right. But that's not failure, it's learning. And it's okay to get it wrong, as long as we understand that by getting it wrong, we're polishing the process. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think a lot of that has been knocked out of children, personally, because, you know, it's very black and white school nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, you either get a cross or a tick.
Yeah.
You're either a failure in your exams or you pass them.
Yeah. And so much is put on the credentials, so much is put on the result, that we're forgetting that our life is a journey. And it's there to have fun. And as you said, to dance with our tap shoes on and realise that we don't have to please anybody but ourselves. It doesn't matter what people think.
No. No, I agree.
Stay in touch with your power. Connect to your solar plexus.
So that's solar plexus.
Vibrating like the sunshine.
Oh, wow.
Vibrating like the sunshine. When we connect to our solar plexus, we shine from the inside out. We shine.
Yeah.
And people that walk into a room and affect everybody else in the room and are a ray of sunshine, and we all know them, they're the ones that are connected. I am, I feel, I do. I do. But they're feeling it. They're feeling the love. They're feeling the joy. They're feeling the inner peace. Yeah. Then we move up to the heart. I love. I love myself. And before you can love others, you have to go on that inward journey of understanding who you are. Who you are. And at the moment, there's a big thing at the moment about relationships. I work with so many people that are looking outside of themselves for a perfect relationship from somebody else to fulfill something within them that they feel that this other person is going to give them. No. No. Nobody else can give you something that is missing within you. They can give it to you for a short amount of time. But if you're needy on some level, that person is going to feel drained by your neediness unless you take responsibility for what it is you're searching for. And whatever it is you're searching for, acknowledge it, set it as a goal, and realise that on some level, remove the blocks that are within you, that are stopping you achieving or finding it, whatever it is out there that you need to feel happy and peaceful and loving.
So,
Throat.
yeah.
Throat, another problem area at the moment.
Okay.
Working a lot with people on throat. When our world is loving, we speak our truth from the heart. Now that truth is not always going to be what other people want to hear. We live in a world that seems to want us to speak our appropriate truth, our pretend truth, our illusion truth, that gives a lot of people a lot of problems with throat, breathing, teeth, sinuses, chest, asthmas, breathing. All of this is about not speaking your truth, not speaking from the heart, speaking from the head. So in other words, energy is coming from here down instead of from ground up.
Yeah.
We want to be speaking from the heart, not from the head. We don't want to be regurgitating other people's truth. We want to be connected to our own loving truth and speak from a place of love, of trust, There's a big shift at the moment from the fear energy to the trust energy. And when we learn to speak from the truth, we realise that most of the time we don't need to say very much. In fact, most of the time we can be quite quiet, do a lot of listening, speak when needed, rather than being really honest, a lot of verbal diarrhoea because people love to hear the sound of their own voice. Being really honest, most of my life I'm quiet. I do a lot of meditating, I sit quietly, I'm happy in my silence, I like that peace. It's comforting to know that I don't need to speak all the time unless I've got something to say. And the rest of the time, it's good to be quiet. It saves energy. You feel contained. You feel calm. So, truth, speaking from the heart. Then we move up to third eye. I see rather than I think. When we're moving up to the third eye, we see the truth. We see our own truth. We see through the illusion. We dream the dream. We're connected to our inner guidance, our inner vision. A lot of times if you're dreaming a lot and you seem to be in a place where you know your truth, even if other people are all telling you, no, you think, but I see it. I see it in my mind. I see what I want. I see my vision. I'm a big picture person. Don't worry about the detail. Don't worry about the how. Just see it. See it from in your mind. Visualise what you want. The mind and the brain thinks in pictures, not in words. So when we're visualising what we want, we're sending out a vision into our energetic field of the life we want. So if you want a new sports car, truthfully, and you can see it in your mind and you're setting it as a goal, in 1 year I'm going to have a shiny new red sports car, and you believe that it's coming from a place of love because you deserve it, you'll have it. You'll have it. The universe will deliver the how that you will be able to take the steps that you will need to deliver a shiny red sports car.
I know that when I'm manifesting things that I want to happen, that I have to truly get in touch with the feeling of it, and it's a different resonance, and I experience it very differently when I actually achieve something to when actually I don't achieve something.
Because you're visualising it.
Yeah.
And health, of all the things I could say to people, if you want to be in good health, visualise your body in perfect health. All day, every day. And if fear creeps in, you need to let go of the fear, set your affirmations and repeat those affirmations as many times of the day as you need to until that becomes your reality. The way negative thinking works in a way that when we have a thought, positive thinking works the same, but we have a thought which creates a neuro pathway. So that thought it shoots off an electron that creates two cells together. The more we have that thought, the more it creates a road. So it'll go from a little lane to a motorway, the more we have the thought. If we're creating bad habits, that thought goes over and over and over and over and over into our mind till it becomes a habitual thought, then becomes a belief. We then believe that one thought becomes our reality, because we've thought it so many times in our head and we've sent it out there so many times that we've created it. So if you've got bad habitual patterns of behaviour, you're going to have to learn to then create good habitual patterns of behaviour in the mind. And the easiest way to do it is to forget the thoughts and start to visualise, because our mind works in pictures. So the more we can give the beautiful pictures into our mind, the more we'll create the beautiful pictures in our external world. Easy as that.
Hoorah!
Yeehaw!
That's the world solved. Anyway,
Yeah.
what's next? No, seriously. Now let me just bring you back to the sound healing. So we were talking about the scanning.
Yeah.
So you've gone through the chakras so that
Yeah.
my audience understand the chakras. Now, effectively, are you placing the bowls on the chakras? Just explain the bowls to me and exactly what you're doing with them, the size of the bowls and things like this, so that people can get some sort of visualisation of them.
Okay, the bowls I have were given to me in India. I didn't choose them, they chose me. I never went out looking for them. They were given to me in a set, exactly the bowls that I use every day. They are of different sizes, so their resonance is of different frequencies. And if I was working with you, Debs, which I'm going to be, I hope, later on, your energy is very gentle and sensitive. So I would use the bowls in accordance with the energy that I feel from you.
That's news to the chat box, actually, because they don't realise that I'm gentle and sensitive at all.
Oh, she's a little elemental, everybody. Yeah, she is a tiny little elemental. I've also got one huge bowl that gives a very heavy resonance. And it's the bowl I use for grounding and connecting before I do anything else. The vibration is absolute. Do you want to hear one?
Yes, please.
Hold on, I'm going to get one. This is my favourite bowl.
Excellent.
Right.
So how many do you have?
I've got 7.
You've got 7 altogether. Okay.
This is my favourite bowl.
So we're talking about the size of a salad bowl there, aren't
Yeah,
we?
a very heavy, large salad bowl.
And it's metal, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's been handmade in,
Wow.
in Dharamsala, where the Dalai Lama lives.
Okay.
And it's got a big, you can see it's got a big
pat-
Buddha
yeah, it's got-
on the bottom, and these are all blessings. So
Oh, okay.
all the symbols have been made by the monks.
So effectively what I'm looking at is like a brown bowl with, and it's all symbols literally all the way around the outside of
on the
it
inside
and
as
on the
well.
inside of it.
You want to hear it?
Yes, please. Wow.
Sounds like Om.
Yeah. And I can feel that through my feet.
Me too.
So how do you work with them? And I constantly want to say play them. Is that how you'd refer to it?
Well, I do play with them.
Yeah.
I believe that everything in life should be playful.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to be vibrating on a high energy, then I need to be in a playful place, because life is serious, Deb. You know, we have to take responsibility, but I don't take myself seriously. I don't. I think that life is about enjoying the journey and having fun. What I do is a lot of healing with people, but I want those people to feel happiness and joy and love. So I need to be able to project outwards what I want other people to be able to feel from me, from working with me and being around me.
Yeah.
So, but when I'm working with this one,
Yep.
I will put this on the person.
Okay.
Okay, and then what we do we will use the outside of the bowl to get the bowl to start singing.
So it almost looks like a wooden mallet that you're using, which has got a buffer on it, and is that...
It's made of like sheep's... it's like chamois.
Yeah, it's like leather.
Yeah. Can you hear the vibration coming up?
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll be able to pick this up, but literally you can feel the vibration in the room, can't you?
Yes, and the bizarre thing is you can start... I am feeling it through my body.
Yeah. And I'm doing this really, really, really gently.
So effectively what Debbie's doing at the moment is just... She's working this mallet around the outside of the bowl and dragging the mallet round it and the edge of it. And it's a really low resonance that we're listening to.
Really low resonance. Now, if I was to put this on a person, which I'm hoping to later, what will happen is this resonance will literally, like a sound wave, pass through your physical body, affecting your cellular level, and the vibration is such a pure sound that it will vibrate your cellular body to help you to start to release and let go of anything that is not of the light energy. So any heavy blocks, anything you're holding on to. And at first it'll affect you. When I work with people, I like to work with them, if possible, on 4 weekly sessions, because the first 2 sessions are going to be about releasing and letting go. Literally, that's it, because the body has to get used to the vibration, and it's powerful. So we do 1 session, maybe only half an hour, leave it a week, do another session, possibly only half an hour, with some energy healing in it as well. And then the following 2 weeks, the body will have started to get used to the resonance. So it's not coming as quite a shock, you know, to the physical body, and especially the emotional, energetic body. And you normally find that you'll have started to clear some stuff. And then we can start putting in what we want. So we're setting the intention then. So if you've got to work with somebody that's got a lot of blocks to do with fears about money, even if it's created physical illness in their life, we're going to start working on their emotional blocks. So we're going to help them to release those blocks and then to start affirm what we're going to put back in the place. Because if you're letting go of something, you want to put something back to replace it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. What I'm wondering is, do you get people who are having detoxification symptoms after it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I get people that have had all sorts of reactions while they're having the bowls, literally while you're having it as well. You can have a lot of tears, a lot of ego stuff come up, where you've been living a life, or you've been pretending to yourself you're something you're not. And on some level, all of a sudden, you get the insight and the tears. The release is so profound that it can take a few weeks, because once something comes up, it means it's time to let it out. And once it starts to come up, then I need to make sure that I'm with that person through the initial steps of the journey, to make sure that I'm there to support and help them, guide them, give them the support they need to put in to lay down the new foundations, basically. But I've also had people have a lot of laughter during the bowls, where they've suppressed a lot of their happiness, and all of a sudden they're like euphoric, you know, they're like giggling, and they're like, oh my God, I feel so happy. And so it's very, the energy from the bowls is very diverse. There's no set pattern to it. It really does depend on the person and where they are, and what we need to shift to bring their body into alignment.
So how do you choose which bowls to use? Because you've got different size bowls.
Intuitively.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, it is purely intuitively, because if I start to work with a bowl, sometimes as soon as I start to work with that bowl, the bowl will let me know that this is not right.
Right.
It's like it'll start behaving really odd and creating strange, dense sounds, and the bowls talk to me. The bowls talk to me. I can hear when the energy is passing through the physical. I can hear the distortion in the sound if there's a block. So if the sound is bouncing back to me rather than going through, if the sound starts bouncing back, then I know there's a resistance. Now, whether that's a physical resistance or an emotional resistance or a mental resistance, that I can't tell, not immediately. Then I will have to do the work. I will have to do the work of letting the sound guide me, and the sound will guide me where it needs to within that body until I feel that it's enough. So sometimes it can be 15, 20 minutes, sometimes half an hour, sometimes an hour. Depends. Depends on the connection and what I'm feeling. So it is very intuitive. Very intuitive.
Now you've got a dog in the room,
Yes.
called Angel. He's absolutely gorgeous. Has become a little cushion next to me. How do animals react to this? Because is the dog in the room most of the time when you're doing the work?
Always. I've got a dog and 2 cats that probably sat out on the table somewhere.
So how are they reacting to it?
They love it.
Do they?
Yeah. Angel will absolutely bliss out. Like yesterday, I used the bowls on myself. And yesterday, because it's a new moon in Aries today, so yesterday I was feeling I needed some quiet time myself, and I wanted to meditate. I do an on meditation every day, and I was working with the bowls, just sitting in here, and Angel was in here with me, blissed out, literally. She will follow me around, and I take Angel a lot when I'm healing with people. So Angel's grown up all her life being around energy and healers and loving, blissed out. Look at her.
No, she's out for the count, to be honest.
She's relaxed, isn't she?
Yeah, she's really very, very relaxed. Now, you're going to do a short session.
I am.
Which we're going to record, and with myself, so that everyone can hear what they sound like on someone.
Cool.
But today I've been with Debbie Carey, and just before we do that session, just give my audience some understanding about how they get in contact with you.
I've got a website, just deborahcarey.com.
So that's C-A-R...
C-A-R-E-Y, Deborah, D-E-B-O-R-A-H.
Yeah.
The bowl sound of it, I'm afraid, the website is a lot to do with the philosophy I teach, because I teach every day is Friday philosophy. Mobile, I suppose.
No, don't give your mobile out, everybody.
So they can get in touch with me through you.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, and there's the website. So
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Debbie. This has been fantastic.